What's up everyone, Soldier First Class here, and today's mission, the file size for Final Fantasy VII Remake has been revealed, and it is massive. They weren't kidding when they said this game was huge, and the newly shown cover art for the back of the case showed us just how big this game's going to be. We already knew that the game was going to be on 2 Blu-rays, and each one of those is 50 gigabytes. However, games never take up all the space on a single disc, and for games this size, they require 2 Blu-rays to play. Red Dead Redemption 2 is currently the only other game that uses 2 Blu-rays, with one being an install disc and the other being the play disc. Reported by Twitter user Xenosaga7, the back of the Korean box art for Final Fantasy VII Remake has been leaked. If you zoom in on the back by where the memory requirement is located, you can see 100 gigabytes. That's on par with what Red Dead Redemption 2 requires, and that's without a day 1 patch. Needless to say, this game is going to be massive. I can already hear the sound of everyone's PS4 Pros sounding like a jet engine about to take off. This leads into the fact that people thought this game was going to be another Final Fantasy XIII and be completely on rails. That was shot down when we got the side quest revealed recently, and the file size suggests that there will be a lot of things to do, see, and explore. Now this doesn't mean that the game is fully open world by any means, but if it's similar to the content of a Yakuza game, we're definitely in for a treat. It bears repeating that this will be a full game taking place inside the city of Midgar, and that we're getting a full game's worth of content. There's also the potential that Midgar has to tell its own story inside the city and still be interesting and highly detailed. 6 of the 7 Yakuza games take place in Kamurocho, with the spin-off Judgment also taking place there. Some of them don't take place entirely in the city, but always lead to it. If 6 whole games and a spin-off can tell stories using the same exact location and do well with fans, then why can't Midgar with one massive game? When I see Midgar in the original game, I see a lot of potential to tell an amazing story inside the city alone. That's why the prospect of a Midgar-only game excited me more than worried me. Yakuza features hours of side content that most open world games can only dream of, and the size of the maps in Yakuza games is small in comparison to most open world games. There's almost something to do on every street corner and mini games to play everywhere. There's characters to interact with and shops and locations to explore. This is the potential Midgar has in just this game alone. With a 100 gigabyte file size, there's going to be so much to see and do in the game that I don't think we'll be seeing any story DLC, which is absolutely okay with me, and I know it's going to be okay with most of the fans out there. Granted, this file size is relative and could be a little less than 100, but we also have to account for day 1 patches and potential updates. Needless to say, you're going to want to make room on your PS4 hard drive or buy yourself an external one. Keep in mind, file size does not dictate game length, so we could still be looking at 35 to 40 hours of content, but from this, that might actually be on the low side. There's a lot that goes into a file size, including cutscenes, character models, animations, and much more. From Kitase's statements about being the length of a full-length Final Fantasy game, I'd say we're looking at 35 to 40 hours of story content and 60 to 70 hours of full game content. And that's also based on how quickly you play the game. If you do nothing but story missions and then beat the game in less time than you expect, then that's on you. But if you take your time, level grind, do side quests, and explore the city, then you're going to put in a lot more playtime. Remake director Tetsuya Nomura also stated in the recent developer interview that he had to give the team direction to cut some of the content that was in the game. This was because they were trying to keep the content to 2 Blu-rays and they had way too many things to do in the original cut of the game. If this game is 100 gigabytes after that cut content, imagine how much there is to do in the final product. I will say this, I think this is the content that we all wanted from Final Fantasy XV cities but never really got. I know that Insomnia was cut off for story reasons, but it was also a massive city that had the potential for massive amounts of content. Altissia had a decent amount of content, but the content in 15 was spread too thin across the large world of EOS. Speaking of maps, I think the mini-map and the full map are good indicators that we'll definitely have exploration. If you look at the mini-map here, it features different streets to go down and areas to go to. And we've seen screenshots in the side quest menu where we can look at the map, so if it was completely linear, I don't think there'd be a need for a full-size map. Granted, Final Fantasy X featured a mini-map, but it didn't feature a full-size map that you needed to look at. If a game needs a full-on map, then it's safe to assume that the world is at least explorable to an extent, and more so than just a few streets here and there. Wouldn't really seem like a feature you'd need for an on-rails point A to point B exploration game. Overall, we went on a little bit of a tangent there, but 100 gigabytes is a ridiculous amount for a console game and pretty much confirms that there will be a massive amount of content inside of Midgar. Like I said before, Red Dead Redemption 2 featured the same file size and Blu-ray format, and that game has a massive world with plenty of content to fill it in. If you ever doubted that Midgar couldn't be an interesting game with plenty of things to do, this file size and side quest confirmation should put that worry to rest. So what do you think, soldiers? Are you excited to do all there is to do in Midgar? Before I go, I'd love to give a special shout out to Sam, Halfbjor, and Brian for becoming my new patrons. Thanks for making my dreams of being a full-time content creator this much closer to reality. Congratulations on being promoted to Soldier First Class. Shout out to Sam, Halfpure, and Brian, and the rest of the ranks of Soldier. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to omni-slash that like button. Let me know in the comments section below what you're most excited for in the city of Midgar. Subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell to join the ranks of Soldier today. And for all the latest Final Fantasy VII Remake, news, rumors, and trailers, I'm Soldier First Class, and I'm on to the next mission. Later, guys.